Hello, welcome to the Liberated Multitasker. I thought today we'd make one of my grandmother's recipes. This is in her handwriting. It's the standard butter cake 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to add 1 cup of butter, 2 cups of sugar, and we're going to cream this together. Next, we're going to add 4 egg yolks. We will need the egg whites later. I'm just going to scrape this all out and then mix that together as well. Next, I'm going to add 4 teaspoons of baking powder to my 3 cups of flour. Now, I did not have any milk on hand, so I'm using some coconut milk I had frozen. I was going to use some evaporated milk, but it was past the best by date, so I went with my frozen coconut milk. Now we need to alternate between adding our flour and our milk, so I'm going to add a little bit of flour and a little bit of milk until I work my way through it. The thing I love about this recipe is you can use it to make cupcakes or layers for a layered cake or just a loaf pan cake. It's a wonderful standard cake recipe that you can make from scratch, and it's really good. Now, if you wanted to make cupcakes, you would bake this at 375 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes. If you want a layered cake, you would bake those layers at 365 degrees for 15 to 25 minutes. Or, if you want a loaf pan cake, you would bake it anywhere between 325 to 350 degrees for 40 to 45 minutes. This recipe is very versatile, and that's one of the great things about it. Now today I decided to go with the cupcake option, but I've also decided to dress it up a bit and go with the cream cheese frosting. So we'll be making that later as well. This is just about done. And then our next thing is some vanilla extract. It calls for 1 teaspoon. I'm just pouring some in. We'll mix this together. And then once that is done mixing, we will fold in our egg whites. I'm going to scrape the sides of that bowl down really good before we add those in. Not a complicated recipe at all. Now the reason it's called a 1, 2, 3, 4 is because you add 1 cup of butter, 2 cups of sugar, 3 cups of flour, and 4 eggs. I'm just going to go ahead and add my liners in. And I'll be using my largest cookie scoop, which is perfect for muffins and cupcakes. And fill those liners up and get ready to bake my cupcakes. I've already preheated my oven to 375 degrees. Now, anytime I'm baking a cake, I use the toothpick test. I insert the toothpick into the middle of the cake or the cupcake, and if it comes out clean, it's ready. So when I'm making these, I end up cooking them for about 25 minutes. So everybody's oven's a little different. So just do the toothpick test. Almost done. Just scrape it down the sides. And I realize I'm going to need 3 more liners. So I end up with 21 cupcakes. Now anytime I have spaces left over in my pan, I end up adding a little water to those tins. And that's what I'm doing here. So in they go for about 25 minutes at 375 degrees. And I'll bring you back when they're done. Now I've already done the toothpick test and they are ready. So I'm just going to pull these out and get those on the cooling rack. Just a second longer. We'll get these all on the rack. And I think I'll taste one. I'll break one open and let you see what the inside looks like. It really is good even without any icing. But I decided to dress them up a bit. Doesn't that look so yummy? Now for the cream cheese frosting. This is just a recipe I found on Pinterest. So I'm adding 1 stick of butter and 8 ounces of cream cheese, and we'll blend this together. And really, we only need 2 more ingredients for this icing. I'm going to scrape down the beater in the sides of the bowl. And then I'm going to add 4 cups of powdered sugar. I will do this a little at a time. This is one of the easiest things to make, and it is so delicious. You can also freeze any leftover frosting in your freezer for about 3 months. You should still be able to use it. I do have a good bit left over, so I do end up putting some in the freezer. Now some vanilla extract. And that's it. Just blend it all up well. Now I'm going to go ahead and put it in my container that I will use to put it in the freezer. I really do love these glass containers because they work well in the refrigerator or freezer, or even I can put them in the oven. But I'm going to put this in the refrigerator so this icing can get a little firm. Doesn't that look good? Now the icing has firmed up and my cupcakes have already cooled completely, so we're just going to go ahead and frost them now. My children are coming over for Sunday supper, and so I thought it'd be nice if we had a little dessert. I ended up only using about half of this frosting, and so as I've already mentioned, I put about half of it in the freezer. Which is great because the next time I make these cupcakes, I won't even have to make the icing. I'll just pull it out of the freezer. Now this is the 4th recipe I've shared with you from my grandmother. So I will link the other 3 at the end of this video if you'd like to see those. I still have 2 more to share with you in the future. But I hope you try this recipe. It really is delicious. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon.